So I just had a random idea, and I was like, oh my god, I have to do this. Like, I was literally of the mindset of, like, I want to do this right now. So here we are with my pitch for a Goof Troop reboot, or revival, I should say. So I literally just had the thought come to me because I was just on social media, and Chris posted the just the theme, and it immediately like struck me like lightning. I was like, oh my god, I have to do this now. So yeah. Now granted, I don't think Disney would do this because it kind of breaks a rule for them of like aging aging characters, which is weird because we've seen Max grow up, but I'm talking more specifically towards for this to work, like for this revival to work, Goofy has to be older, like, because he's gonna be a grandfather, you see. So let me explain how I would pitch this show. So this would be a direct sequel to Goof Troop and kind of ignore, well, I think like, yeah, I would probably ignore Extremely Goofy Movie, but the Goofy movie itself would actually be in canon. Why? Because in here, Max is all grown up, and he has his own job, and he actually is married to Roxanne, and they actually have kids. So this would be like present day, I guess you could say. And Goofy is now like kind of living alone at his house, and they had to move away. Max and Roxanne have moved away with their kids to another, like, to a city, to a much bigger city, and they have like, how I would have it is like Max, I would have like maybe he's working in like sales or like something economic, whereas Roxanne is like a real estate agent. So they're making money, is what I'm saying. Is like they're making money, and they're actually sending money to Goofy because like he's failing at everything. It's Goofy. So here's how I would play out the pilot. It would be a two-parter for this new reboot of the show. Essentially what it is that like Max and Roxanne, they're getting ready to move to a city because they've been living in the same town as Goofy and everyone else. But basically Goofy, like Max tells his dad, like, hey, listen, I didn't know how to tell you this, but like we're gonna move to a bigger city. Roxanne and I both have like, we've got better job offers. We got, it's gonna be a better place, and we have better schools for the kids. And Goofy's just like, oh, okay, I get it, but I can still come. He's like, yeah, Dad, you can still come see us. I'm not running away from you. So Goofy's like, okay, I can go whenever I want, right? Yeah, Dad, you can. And in the inside, Max is like, please, God, let this poor man not destroy himself or the house he lives in when we're gone. So Goofy's all like, yeah, it's all fine. I can go see you whenever, and you can come back and see old Grandpa Goof. That's what he would refer to himself, and even the grandkids. I don't have names for the grandkids, but I'd probably only have like two. Definitely a teenager one, a younger one. But Goofy is referred to as Grandpa Goof by the grandkids. So Goofy's now living alone. He's now kind of sad. Pete is like, I would say Pete's now divorced from Peg because Jesus, there's no way Peg and Pete lasted that long. So they're divorced. PJ is actually working at his Pete now runs like a successful used car dealership, and PJ is like the heir apparent to it, and he's actually he's like happy for Max and Roxanne, but he's like, dude, I wish I could do what you guys do. So yeah, there's that. But while the opening that would be the first episode of Max telling Goofy like, hey, I still love you and I want to come see you, and we'll come see you. It's just yeah, it's gonna be okay. But but throughout the second episode, because again, this opener would be two-parter, is that it's basically the whole story of the second episode would be Goofy trying to he's now living alone. He was before, but before he could go see his family, he could go see them in like a nearby house across the street. Now they're gone. Even like in the opening scene, Goofy would like knock on the door, be like, Max, where are you? And he looks in the window. Oh yeah, right, okay. So now Goofy's really just feeling like alone, and this is where the goof happens. Because Goofy basically destroys the house in typical Goofy fashion, where he's like trying to fix a leak, and then it just snowballs into like just utterly destroying his house. So now the house is just destroyed, and Goofy is like left there. So now, but he doesn't want to tell Max because he feels like he'd be a burden to Max and Roxanne and the family. He's just like, well, I got enough money I saved up, so maybe I can find my own house. So Goofy basically he's telling Max, like every time Max calls him, is like, hey Dad, what's going on? Oh, nothing, just watching the game. So Goofy's trying desperately to stay at the, in the neighborhood, because he doesn't want to feel like burdening Max with living with him. So Goofy is like even getting help from Pete, even though Pete's like trying to be like, oh, I'll get you a house, Goof. And getting him all these like really awful houses. Eventually, Max does put 2 and 2 together, and he's like, Dad, why didn't you tell me this? Like, he actually goes, because he's like, I know something's wrong, and I know my dad's a horrible liar, so he tells Roxanne, I'm gonna go check on Dad, so I'll be back. So he finds out, yeah, the house is destroyed, and Goofy's just been living in, like, a rundown mobile home that he's spending, like, $5 a day for rent. And he's like, Dad, why didn't you tell us? Like, we would have helped you. And they're like, well, you guys are all grown up with your kids and the house and everything else. I just feel like a burden. And he's like, Dad, you're not a burden. Come live with us. So that's how it goes, is that Max brings Goofy home, and Roxanne's like all about it, because she's like, she even like tells Max, like, we should have done this from the beginning. Like, it wasn't fair to your dad to just leave him all alone. So we have a spare room in this house. We have money. We have Goofy-proof money. That's the big thing, is that Roxanne would make a point of, we have enough money for like your dad being your dad. We can pay for damages. Like, of whatever shenanigans your father causes, we can, like, fix it. So that would be the story. That would be the opener. And the other episodes would just be, like, Goofy hanging out with the rest of the family, being Grandpa Goof, and more or less it would be him being with the kids, being with the grandkids. Again, I don't have names, but I definitely have, like, a daughter and a son. That's how I play it out. One son, one daughter, and Goofy would be, the fun grandpa who wants to go on adventures and get into shenanigans with the kids. And I wouldn't do, like, I wouldn't want to have, like, dumb jokes where, like, Goofy trying to figure out, like, what an app is or a phone, because it's like, we've done this before. We don't need to do that. Like, it's just, like, Goofy, like, seeing them on their phones and being like, you know what you kids need? A good old campfire adventure. Let's go. And Max is just like, yeah, let's do it. We haven't done that in a long time. Like, when I was your age, Grandpa and I used to go camping all the time. We even saw Bigfoot once. And their kids are like, yeah, sure, Dad. So, so you would have, like, these fun shenanigans. Think like a lot of the, think like Big City Greens. It'd be pretty episodic. Like, the show would be pretty episodic. It wouldn't have it would probably have like some storylines that would come back, but it wouldn't be like something like Gravity Falls or Amphibia. Again, it would be like, there are things, and I would actually have that Pete does he basically now moves his car dealership into the city, and is like, it gets destroyed by Goofy, and now he's like just beefing with Goofy's family. So, and poor PJ's caught in the middle of it. I'd even have an episode where, like, PJ goes to work, quits his job and goes to work with, he actually, like, reveals to Max, he's like, man, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to be my dad's heir to a used car dealership. I wanted to, like, do comic books and stuff. So, that one, I think, would be a fun episode, like, they're all at a convention, and could you just imagine Goofy at a comic convention? Just the pain he would get into. Like, he gets punched by a cosplayer, and he just gets knocked into onto the floor and goes, "Gorsh, this is more painful than it looks." So play with that, and even have, like, if I could do that episode, I'd actually have, like, comic writers, namely Marvel, because this is Disney, so I'd have, like, writers like Jed McKay, and like, maybe even like have even the editor in charge at Marvel, CB. I'd probably have, like, again, Jed McKay and Jonathan Hickman and, like, other writers and artists, like, as guest roles to talk to PJ and, like, be cool with him and help him, like, discover his, you know, dream and whatnot. Would it actually be called Marvel Comics? Knowing Disney, it might for synergy, but I would just say, like, maybe something parody, like Marvelous Comics or something, or Timely Marvel Comics. I don't know. Just throwing that idea. But yeah, it would just be like a fun slice of life show like the original Goof Troop was, but just have, like, the problem is that Disney wouldn't probably go for it because we're aging Goofy. He's a dad now, but would they be okay with him being a grandfather? I don't know, because then you're just basically saying, well, is Donald now a grandfather? Is Mickey a grandfather? They don't like that. I mean, they don't, like, Goofy's the only one who's had kids of his own. Like, so I think it's more palatable if you made Goofy a grandfather, because again, Max ain't his nephew, it's his son. So yeah, so like, if you were gonna age any character, Goofy makes the most sense. Plus, could you just imagine Goofy in the big city every day, having, you know, trying to be the best grandfather ever, and also, you know, Max and Roxanne having a married life? Come on, this sells. This would make buku money. Anyway, I just thought this would be fun to, just a fun idea to throw out there. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of this pitch for a Goof Troop sequel? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.